Live. Welcome everybody to the Ask Me Anything show. Joe Moore here today. I'm going to be solo doing so today. It's all about asking questions, whatever you want. Ask me anything you want to ask about coins, about trading, about your, whatever you think I can help you with. At least try to maintain a trading related chat. Let's call it. All right. Hopefully everyone is good. Where are you from? Write me in the chat with the question, where are you from on this planet? How are you doing today, this beautiful Sunday? It is a beautiful Sunday evening for me. Where are you from? Where is it right now? Whether it's in the States, it's morning. Australia, very early in the morning. Europe, wherever. Ask me anything that you want. This is a show for anything, whatever you want. Okay? That's how we do it in this show, at least. In the usual show, we make some laughs, some good laughs, whatever. Here, more of whatever, ask me anything, and I answer whatever you want, openly as possible. I'm just going to start with a little bit of charting. We're going to look at Bitcoin on the weekly stance. This is Bitcoin on a weekly stance. You can see we didn't yet closed, all right, this specific candle. We have a couple of 5 more hours or so on to get go. You can see this is the first time. I'm going to show you something. This is the first time in this entire bull cycle, right, that we closed a weekly close below the 50-week moving average. You see this moving average? All right. You see here, we never closed below it. We never closed below it. Never closed below it. We closed last week below it. And this is the second consecutive week we're going to close below the 50-week moving average. Historically speaking, all right, historically speaking, most of the times that we closed, all right, closed below the 50-week moving average, that's where a bear market started. You can see it here, roughly by the end of 2021, we broke below it. Yes, we had somewhat of a rally, which I'm expecting something similar to happen to us at one point or another, okay? But we had somewhat of a rally. We didn't close above it, and we went into the very deep bear market that we had all through this area, okay? And you can see that prior to that, mostly we didn't close below it, right? We didn't close below it here. Even here, whenever a lot of people were panicking, everyone thought this might be the top. We were falling down all the way to the 30K-ish area, but we didn't close below the 50-week moving average, as you can see. I'm gonna zoom in. You can see we didn't close on a weekly candle below the 50-week moving average. Here, okay, there was something interesting that happened. You can say that here we did kind of played above and below it for a minute, specifically in the COVID. Okay, but you can say that this was still within a bear market. Once we started the bull market here, this is where we really started bull market. Okay, then it took a lot of time until we closed below the 50-week moving average. Okay, it was only here. Even in the past, like the very early cycles, very same thing. Okay, so the 50-week moving average can help guide us. It's a guide. It's not a certainty. Nothing is a certainty, okay? But it can help guide us through everything that is related to the bull market, at least on the Bitcoin, all right? At least on Bitcoin, doesn't mean that Bitcoin cannot be in a bull market and everything else can crumble. And many times this happened in a past bull market, okay? So there you go. I do expect at one point or another, I don't know if it's now, I assume we might getting into that zone, or maybe another move down can happen before we go to make somewhat of a retest. I'm not sure how a retest will look like, but anything, like a big head and shoulder can happen. Okay, anything like this, can happen, and then on the way down. I'm assuming we got into a bear market, by the way. I'm assuming there's a 90% chance that we got into a bear market. Of course, time will tell. You can't really know in the moment, only in hindsight. But you can, with high probability and high degree of certainty, say that you can speculate on the downside. That's what we have been shorting, it says this breakdown over here, right? Let's get to some questions for you guys and see what you got. Well, I see that not a lot of these beautiful questions today. A Come on, where are you guys? I'm here for you. I'm here to drop the alpha. Ask me the goody questions. It's a Sunday night. Make this interesting. All right. Mr. Brian is saying good afternoon from Maine. What do you think about VeChain? Okay, and ZBEC. VeChain, man. That's VET for you guys, man. This was a coin that I heavily traded in 2021. All right, so let's take a look at VET. All right, you can see that I talked about this not too long ago. This is the weekly standpoint. Is there, yeah, this is the oldest chart. It's a log chart. Let's get, all right. So this is a regular chart for VET on the weekly time span. All right. So it's a weekly, each candle is a weekly candle. Well, you can see, and this is what I always say, okay? And you need to open your eyes and ears about this because this is important. At least I think, in my opinion, this is very important, okay? I say this many, many times. Well, a coin will, with 99.9% chance, never see a new high from one cycle to another. Okay, that's my estimation. At least with all the current data that we have, 99.9%, even more, right? It's close to all of them. Okay, there's a handful of coins that actually did made higher highs. Okay, but 99.9% of coins will have a cycle, a very strong cycle like this one. Let's measure the VET cycle, not even from the lows. Let's say from this area. Okay, VET made big move, 25, 100%. This is 25, 26.6, and this is not even from the accumulation range, okay? And it will never see these prices again. So VET, in my opinion, is in, and I don't even want to call it trouble because it's neglected and it's uninteresting to market participants, okay? No one is interested in VET right now. And I assume it will stay that way unless a very big catalyst will happen, which again, doesn't really happen for cryptos. Remember, cryptos, they have an issue with gravity. That's why, I call them craptos. And I love crypto, by the way. I very much love crypto. This is my day-to-day. This is my bread and butter, okay? But I call them crapto as a mindset. I call them crapto to remind myself that they don't mean anything. It's just all of these coins are just a vehicle for a means end for me to improve my lifestyle, to improve my wealth, to improve every financial aspect of me and my family. And that is it. I don't care about falling in love. I don't care about hodling. I don't care about anything. That's why I'm ahead of the game, because I don't care about any of these coins from any assumption. By the way, a lot of the problems that retail people make is they put somewhat of an effort into fundamentals, right? I think it's the wrong fundamentals, but I don't want to play too hard. I think it's just BSing, looking at YouTube videos and I don't know, listening to YouTubes of influencers. So I don't think it's a real fundamental analysis. But let's call it, all right? So most people, they pour in hours and hours and hours and hours. And after, let's say, 5 hours, and if they made a deep analysis, it's 10 hours, they come to a conclusion where they fall in love with the coin. And then they get enamored with the coin because of all the time they put and effort they put. And also they romanticize the future of, oh, if it just makes 10x from here, I'm going to be a multi-gazillionaire. And that's what ruins most people. All right. So this is what I had about VET. I think it's done until proven otherwise. Okay. Until proven otherwise. Right. ZBCN. Let's take a look at ZBCN for you guys. All right. So ZBCN is having one of the strongest pushes from the oversold area. I made a video about this a couple of days, and I was stating how ZBCN fall out of favor. Unfortunately, I really thought at one moment that ZBCN has what it takes to create a trend up, but maybe it's not even ZBCN. It's just it came at the end of the bull market for Bitcoin. So look, this market is all about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes into a bear market, all the coins crumble with it. They might shine for a moment or so after it happened in past cycles, not in this cycle. Well, and it is what it is, right? So here, after this push up, this made a 260% move in a week. I saw, characteristics of this having a potential to continue, but it didn't. It was just basing and basing and basing. And until one point, it just broke this trend line. Okay, and it was at the break of this trend line, or before that, I think over here somewhat, where I created a video saying, there are many risks for holding ZBCN, and I got a lot of heat about it, but it is what it is, right? So as long my take for you, Mr. Brian, right? As long as we're below this trend line, we're kind of it can make whatever noise it wants, right? It can even do something like this, whatever. I think it's going down for now, right? With nothing changing, with all the information I have in front of me right now, with understanding, in my opinion, right? It's my speculation. These are my opinions, that Bitcoin has a 90% probability that it topped. Then I think the market has topped, and I don't think ZBCN is going to outshine anything. Now, in the case that I'm wrong, and for some reason, and again, I don't know the future. I don't know the future. Anything can happen, right? In the future. I just work with my own intuition, experience, and data. Okay. This is my job. This is what I do. You can choose to open your eyes and ears to what I have to say and at least, contemplate upon it, or choose to negate it, whatever you want. I don't really care. I'm here to try to give you, all right, my piece of cake or my 2 cents on all of this. So in the case that for some reason there will be somewhat of a resurrection, and all of a sudden we get back above this trend line, okay, and we will be able to break, maybe build something in this level and then break above it with conviction, then that will be my play. Okay, that will be my play. Now I know what some people here are saying. I've heard it many times, even on Caspa and so many other coins. Hodlers will say, but Jomo, I will be holding from the 2 cents and you're going to get only at 5 cents. I'm way ahead of the game before you, and blah, 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 whatever. I know how you think. That's how you think. And I just know how it is. Way to go. That will be perfect. I really wish that would happen for all of anyone that is holding ZBCN. Beautiful. Okay. My game is not to be early to the party, and is not to wait for a party to start. Okay, that's not my game. I know my game. I know where I'm good at. And with all due respect, with my experience and seeing things happening over and over, I also understand that the game that most hodlers are playing is doomed to fail eventually. So I don't do that. Okay, what I do is I come exactly when the party started, when price action is showing momentum, either to the upside or the downside. Boom. Once it wants to play, I'll be on top of it. All right. Hopefully that answers your question, Mr. Brian. Let's move on. By the way, everyone, this is the Ask Me Anything show. Today, I'm solo. You can ask me anything that you want, anything, and I'm going to answer it. You want to ask about coins? Ask about coins. Trading related questions? Boom. Investing related questions? Boom. Do that. Also, I'm going to invite you to come on Wednesday, which is a couple of days from here, to the Bear Market Bootcamp, where I and CM are going to teach exactly how we thrive in a bear market. When everyone is afraid, when everybody is fearful, we're not. It's just another Sunday for us. We have all the edges. We understand how to take advantage of this market. We invite you to come scan the QR code. Also, I have a small goodie for you over here. I have the Bear Live 25% coupon code. Use that in the checkout. This is for you. All right. So someone, Mr. Francisco, is asking about Zcash and Dash. So yeah, man, I mean, those are the two main coins right now that everyone is talking about. These are privacy, sector. And the thing is that Zcash is the main holder, right? By the way, we traded Zcash from here in the community. We traded this breakout all the way to here. So this was a nice breakout in the membership. You can come join whatever you want and see how we trade over there. This was a nice trade for the members. And right now it's building. Okay, so all right, let's take a look at it from a context, right? So at least from this chart, because I know Zcash was trading in 2017 also, this is a new all-time high for Zcash. Okay, now funny enough, it comes at the end, at least in my opinion, at even if not at the end, at the last innings of a Bitcoin bull market. Okay, so this is interesting, and it came with force. Okay, it came with force from this low over here in a few weeks. It made an 11x strong. I love it. Ferocious. Okay, I love it. We took a trade out of it. That's what I want. Okay, now I'm looking at it. This is in a relative strength perspective. Zcash is one of the strongest coins, if not the strongest coin in the market. Okay. Now, I do have a caveat. For some reason, Zcash always pumps at the end of a bull market. I think it happened in the past also. It's like it wants to pump exactly at the end of Bitcoin move. Here at May, April 2021, which was the first, May. It was the first breakdown of Bitcoin, all right, before it pushed up. And then here in November, which was, the second, fake out of Bitcoin. You can see, so whenever Bitcoin kind of tops, in a sense, then Zcash makes a move, okay? So my opinion is, I'm watching it for another trade. We took profits into strength. That's it. We don't need anything else, right? Again, my game, I know my game. And my game is to take a trade at the most specific moment, exactly when a breakout to the upside or a breakdown if it's a short. But in this case, it's a breakout starts. In this case, we traded it from here, from this breakout over here, take as much profits as I can on the way up, okay? And once I see it, stop, boom, I want to be out of the trade, looking at it for a potential second trade. So if this will continue, right now it's building sideways, okay? If it wants to continue, I'm going to be over it, okay? So you can be very classic about it, say it's creating somewhat of a pennant, let it ride, okay? Don't jump the gun. Let's see if this wants to create somewhat of a continuation bump. If it breaks out, boom, you have your edge here. Now, if it breaks out, it can always break out and fizzle back down. This can happen. Okay, breakouts are not a 100% probability. Actually, I'm right roughly 40% of the time in the long run. But when they are right, bam, they are right very strong. And when I'm wrong, I lose only a couple of percentages. That's how I'm a low risk trader. That's how it's called. So definitely looking at Zcash. Dash, on the other hand, is looking kind of weaker. Okay, this is another trade we took actually from here. The breakout on this level here, it almost stopped us out in the membership, but also this was another beautiful trade. This actually made above 200% max gain, but this looks more like it's done. It was like a trade and done. Let's look at it from a longer term perspective. Different than Zcash. You can see that Dash had a beautiful, very strong move in 2021. Actually, Zcash is one of the few coins that made a higher high from one cycle to another, which is, as I said in the beginning, a very interesting feat. So if I would choose to look at one or the other and follow, because I wouldn't be in any of them, because again, I don't just hodl. I don't just buy and hold, okay? I trade. I want to get in specific moments. If I would be interested in any, I'm going to look at both, but with a perspective of probabilities, Zcash looks like the stronger one. Roger is saying, Casper dominance is breaking out. Let's take a look at Casper for just 1 second, because I don't understand what it means. Like Casper versus everyone, is that what you're referring to? Man, Roger is the dude. I don't understand. Roger, I don't get it, man. Look at Casper, okay? It's going lower. This is a weekly perspective. On the daily, it's getting a very small bounce like the rest of the market. Breaking out in where? What are you looking at, man? I don't understand you anymore, Roger, to be honest, man. To be honest. And, in a perspective of, things, let's take a look at a total 3, okay? You can see that the total 3 is just bouncing. Total 3, by the way, is the market cap of all coins besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, okay, excluding these two. So you can see it's bouncing. And Caspa is bouncing just as small as this one. It's not making anything different. No market difference. And you can hug your your Caspa dominance because you're saying you're a Caspa dominant chart, man. We looked at the chart versus versus USDT, which is the most important chart, man. It's showing nothing. Unfortunately for you, man. I do know that you want to get somewhat of a confirmation from the market. You're waiting for it, man. I know that's how the mind works. It's somewhat of a confirmation bias that you're having right now. Unfortunately, Roger, that's what's happening to you right now. You're experiencing confirmation bias. Okay, if you don't know what confirmation bias, a confirmation bias is something that happens to everyone. Okay, it's the human nature to have a confirmation bias. And what happens is that we as humans, we search for things that confirm, that affirm what we want to happen. Okay, same thing in politics. If you're right wing, you'll always look for right wing arguments to confirm. If you're a left wing, you're going to have left wing to confirm. And you'll always not look at evidence that negates your opinion at all. You're going to throw it away. That's confirmation bias. It happens to everyone. And in trading, in investing, confirmation bias is one of the worst biases you can have because it makes you blind to what you don't want to see, which is the other side of the coin, which is risk management. All right, Mr. Todd is saying good afternoon from the East Coast of the United States. Where is that exactly? I mean, is it New York City? Which one exactly? Tell us, Mr. Todd. Christoph, my man, shout out to Christoph. People will get liquidated on shorts positions just like October 10th, but then on a long position. Time will tell. So what Christoph is trying to say over here, that there are going to be liquidations on shorts. Well, okay. But are you trying to say that they're going to happen in the same magnitude than October 10th? Usually that happens at the end of a bear market, right? So in the end of the bear market, and this is what people don't understand, in the end of a bear market, most people are actually short, at least from a future trader perspective. Okay, and that's why in the end of the end of the bear market, when most people are just short, everyone already sold. The only way for the market to actually go is up, and then the market goes up, and there's renewed buying from buyers, from bulls. Shorts, bears are starting to cover their positions, and bam, 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 boom, they get liquidated. Okay, but what happened on October 10th was an implosion. It wasn't a normal liquidation. So it can happen. I don't know. I don't know the future at all. Okay, but I can say one thing. Don't use leverage. That's one thing. Never use leverage. Never ever use leverage on your account. I don't. That's why October 10th, or we were actually short and it was going down, so we made money. But always use a stop loss also. Okay, so never use leverage, and always use a stop loss, and a very tight stop loss. My stop losses, for example, are at maximum. All right, at maximum, usually no more than 10%. Okay, no more than 10%. So when it's that tight, even if you get a market move, a very strong one, you will be one of the first ones to get triggered. Okay, the stop losses that did not get triggered are the fat tail stop losses, after 20, 30, 40, 50, 60%, wide stop losses. Those, you didn't have any liquidity at those areas. But on the tighter frames, you do get liquidity. You still have, orders on the book. So A, never use leverage. B, always use a tight stop loss. Usually, if it's a long, use the low of the breakout day maximum. If it's a short, use the high of the breakdown day. Okay, that's how I do it. Todd is saying hello to crap toes. Exactly. I call everything is just crap toes in my opinion. SOS, Brew, take a look at the FIRO chart. All right, let's take a look at the FIRO chart. Well, I can see it's only traded in MEXC, by the way, as an, as a trade that, as in respectable, let's call it ish, because it's not really respectable. Yeah, so FIRO. Yeah, Faro got a. Let's take a look at a broader perspective. So, from a broader perspective, this coin is in the dumpster, perpetually going down. Okay, so you can see that the market didn't have any interest in this coin whatsoever. The volume right now on average is 1.85 million on Mexi in spot, which is, on the lower end of being okay-ish. Okay, so that's from a perspective, and you can see it's going down since April 2021. So this came to inception last cycle, had a small move, and ever since it's went down, it's kind of dead. Now it had somewhat of renewed interest. So initially it moved, let's call it 200%, made an interesting VCP. Okay, so this is a base. I call this a VCP base. This sideways move. Created a fake out, but then you could have traded it. So from a trading perspective, okay, and again, remember, I'm a trader. I'm not a hodler. I will never be a hodler because I understand how destructive a hodling mentality really is. I know a lot of you hate me for that, okay? You disagree with me, but I have the market experience to understand that hodling just for the sake of hodling doesn't work. And all of you are going to say, hey, but it worked for Bitcoin. Okay, it worked for one coin out of a million. So for the rest of the coins, unless you really came at the right moment, and even then you hodled for a year, let's call it, maximum a year and a half, 2 years, then no, you probably just lost all your money if you just hodl until the end. Okay, so it's Bitcoin, maybe Ethereum if you got it at one point. Doge had higher high from one cycle to another also, right? So it's only in specific times, but later they go down like everything else. Bitcoin is the only one that really perpetually goes up for now, right? So again, back to Firo, moved up, made a sideward move. This could have been an interesting trade here. Take the trade, could have made 180% max gain. Now it's down. I think this is just a fizzling type move, just like something that happened here. Okay. I don't reckon this is going to be a continuation at all. I don't see Faro making any continuation in the past years. And what? It waited until the last innings of the bull market to create a continuation? Nah, I don't think so. It's probably a liquidity grab over here. Someone pushed it, and an insider, whoever, a long-term hodler, took profits. This looks like a capitulate, like an exhaustion move, and a sell, like a liquidity sell. In my opinion, it's done, and also it's not a coin that would interest me at all. All right. Brew, kind of look at Turbo, get to 1 cent, 500 million market cap. So who is this? This is E3300.02. Okay. He's saying, take a look at Turbo. I don't understand, the continuation actually of what you're saying over here. All right, Turbo. And by the way, if anyone is thinking about, how they can join me in the membership, how do we trade? Easy peasy. You can just scan the QR code over here. If you wish, we invite you. We have the members over there, very happy. You can go and watch a video I made last week about all the trades we had in October, the winners, the losers, and you can see that it was a very fruitful month. Go check that out instead of me blabbering about myself. It has everything over there, proof, transparency and everything. All right, so Turbo. Okay, what was the question again? Let's see, what was the question on the Turbo thing? All right, Brew, can you look at Turbo? Get to 1 cent. Oh, can it get to 1 cent? All right, so by the way, let's change the chart. Let's go to the, all right, this chart. By the way, Turbo, we traded it also. We traded it from here. This was an epic trade, an epic trade, very extremely epic trade. All right, and ever since then, yes, it had some more trades, but it was in a stage 3 topping. Not this is the real move that Turbo had. The rest is just a lot of noise. Anyways, 1 cent. 1 cent is here. So what are you are asking me if it can make basically a 7x, okay, 7x from here on? Look, first of all, I don't know the future, okay? And even if I can give an estimation and speculation, it's going to be short to midterm. I don't know what will happen in years from today. I can't say one thing, and I said it multiple times through this live. Usually, when coins have a market cycle, they don't reach this top again, and usually they go into irrelevance. Okay, they just go into irrelevance. Let's take a look at one of the more prominent, meme coins of the past cycle. You can see that even this coin didn't get to, the top that it had in 2021. Yes, it had a nice move, okay, within the bull market, okay? And let's see how much this was. It was a 400% move. Okay, so not not a big move whatsoever, right? Not a big move whatsoever. Turbo, where is it? So I would argue that Turbo looks like it's done. If you go with past data, all right, Turbo is nothing different than any of the other meme coins, even Pepe. They all look kind of the same right now. They all look like garbage on the way down. They had their moment of relevance over here. And that's it. That's where you wanted to trade it. And that's why I say don't marry coins, trade coins. Trade, don't marry them. That's what I say all the time. You don't want to marry coins. Why? Because crypto or craptos have an issue with gravity. Eventually, they go down. That's how it goes from my experience. And I've been looking at charts for years, many years now. I've been looking at charts, been seeing charts over and over and over again. Okay, so the principles I'm teaching you over here are principles that came with a lot of experience and a lot of market, hours, let's call it. Okay, so can it get to 1 cent? I don't know, to be honest. I don't think so. Okay, I don't think so. I think it's going to continue fizzling down, to be honest. I just think it's, even if it does have a relief rally, I don't think it will go past this one. Again, my speculation only. And I think something like this is going to happen. It's going to go into a neglect phase, irrelevance, and at one point in time in the future, okay, it might have it move, okay, just like Shiba had. But I don't think it's going to amount to something interesting again. Okay, and remember, what is this? It's a meme coin based on a movie, or that Turbo, caracol, you say in Spanish, the snail. It's based on the snail, man. And try to find the next thing. All right, so we have someone else over here. Let's see what he's saying. Let's get back. All right, so Mr. Brian is saying thank you. You're welcome. All right, by the way, everyone, if you just got in, this is the Ask Me Anything show. We're already half an hour in, so I'm going to give it roughly 10, 15 more minutes maximum, okay? So try to push in all your questions as fast as possible. If you can, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel. My channel is the Crypto Mindset. CM's channel is the Crypto Mindset. I'm coming from another side. I will appreciate if you can go, all right, to my channel, which is the Crypto Mindset. Subscribe to my channel, hype it, share this. If you're on Twitter, if you're not, go. You have my handle in the bottom. Follow me. If you're on Twitter, retweet it. Help us go further along and ask any question you might have. And again, remember this Wednesday, consider joining. We have the Bear Market Bootcamp. Okay, this is a bootcamp. It's a maximum 3 hours. It's going to be recorded. So even if you can't attend live, this will have recording for live. Okay, but you can only secure your spot prior to the live, okay, prior to the bootcamp. After, you can't. So if you're considering this, scan the QR code, go secure it, all right? We're going to teach you how we thrive in a bear market. Now, look, as I said in the beginning, even if I think 90% probability we topped, but even if the 10% probability of a continuation can happen, because we might be easing into the end of the bubble right now, we might get a last small euphoric move, and then that will be it. Don't fool yourself to think that it will continue like a super cycle. It's not going to happen, okay? At least in my opinion, okay? Again, market experience, that's a long shot. With all reality is the Fed is easing into what is still inflation, kind of into a bubble, into a 3-year bull market. It doesn't end well, right? And I'm not the only one, I'm not the only experienced person that will say that. So you can scan the QR code. We're going to teach you what we do. Also, we have a coupon code, which is the Bear Live coupon code for a 25% off. Go check it out if you are interested in getting more knowledge. It's 3 hours maximum, 2 hours theory, 1 hour of live trading, where CM and I, we're going to share with you all the potential, bangers we have for the short side or to the long side. So all the coins in our list, in the trading list, the focus list, we're going to share with everyone that come to the live. We had great success with people coming in the past. By the way, ZBCN, one of the main loved coins, we talked about it in one of the, I think it was the Gem Hunter webinar we made. We showed it prior to the breakout. So people that were there, they enjoyed. All right, Mr. The Real Big AI is saying, are you pretty much saying that it's never efficient to DCA? No. Well, pretty much in crypto, right? Okay, so we need to differentiate a lot of things here, because as a rule of thumb, if you don't know, how to do CA, don't do it. Okay, now if you want to do it, for example, in indexes, then the highest probability for you to DCA into something long term, at least from a long-term data perspective. If you see the Dow Jones, for example, the Dow Jones has been going up since the inception in the 1890s, right? With exceptions, it had like a few 10-year, lost decades, which can happen. We can be getting into a lost decade now. I don't know, right? But from a very long-term perspective, like 10, 20, 30 years, then stock indexes in the United States specifically, are what is called the safest bet. Now, there's no real safe bet because anything can happen. The United States can go down under the valuation of the currency. I don't know what can happen. AI can change everything, okay? But from a long-term perspective, index, DCA was good, okay? For long-term pension, IRA, and whatever. Crypto and crypto coins, DCAing is only good if you manage to catch the beginning of a bull market, okay? Why? Because that's where the highest probability of you to get lucky because most of you guys are trying to choose a coin, okay, that you fall in love with and put all your money in it. No risk management, no regard to, market structure, nothing. So from a perspective of someone that is trying to be lucky, and again, for me, luck is not strategy, okay? But from a perspective of someone that's trying to get lucky, if you manage to somehow catch the beginning of a bull market, so DCAing into the beginning can be a good idea, but you must have a way to sell, because DCAing, perpetually, no, that's a very bad strategy. Even for Bitcoin, you don't know what will happen. Quantum computing can come when super intelligence come in a few years, and bam, you're done. It breaks into the chain and Bitcoin goes to irrelevance. I don't know. Can that happen? No idea. Will it sustain it? No idea. Again, so you have too many open questions when it comes to crypto, okay? Again, why? Because it's a very infant, asset class. It's only since, it was invented in 2008, but it really started getting somewhat of a traction in 2010, 2011, right? And real trading, came in 2013, 2014. So, at best, it's a 16-year asset, okay? The Dow Jones started in roughly the 1890s. So it's more than 130 years old. So, you can weigh in what has more data to it. Again, if you are in crypto, and you don't know what you're doing, right? Try to find the next time, Bitcoin went into a long-term bear market, and then for the first time after a long time starts to break from a weekly perspective about the 50-week moving average. That's where you want to be DCAing, and you want to be DCAing, what you can afford also. So I hope that answers your question. And by the way, we DCA'd in the membership since roughly the 20Ks on Bitcoin, and only on Bitcoin, by the way. And we bam, 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 and we stopped at roughly the 70K, because for me, I stopped when we get into new all-time high grounds. So that's where we DCA'd into Bitcoin in the membership. That was actually on the Patreon, not on the WAP, which is quite new. But we did that because I understood that we broke above the 50-week moving average back then and so on, and I had some other ideas, and it worked out, right? So that can happen. All right, Christoph, Jomo, will you move some capital into stocks or something else, or will you sit in cash? Okay, so first of all, I trade stocks all the time, okay? My main trading capital is for crypto, but I do have a retirement account in stocks. Okay, and I mainly use ETFs, though I do get into specific trades every now and then. But I mainly use the triple ETFs on Nasdaqs to to long the Nasdaq or to short the Nasdaq. That's one thing. But your question is a bit different. You're asking if I will move capital into stocks or it will just sit in cash. Okay, so you're coming out of the question of, do you park your money into something? Okay, no, I'm not a billionaire. I don't have too much money that I must park it somewhere, or it will just be dumb because you have 50 million, 100 million, or $1 billion. You need to be allocating your assets, or else you're just being stupid about it. Us shrimps, even if you have like a couple of mil, you don't have to park your assets in something that has a high probability of going down. So if I believe something's going down, I will either be in cash or be short. Same thing to the long side. If I think something's going to go up, I'm either going to be in cash because I don't have any trade, or I'll be longing it. But I will be longing into trades, okay, in and out mostly, with I have somewhat of a longer term bucket, again, only on Bitcoin usually, or indexes. Hopefully that answers the question, Christoph. Bro, Zcash will go up now or down. That's it. Mr. Said Suleiman. Man, I don't know, man. I don't know the future. I don't have a crystal ball. I have a bald head, though. I have a bald head, but I don't have a crystal ball. As I said in the beginning, I'm looking at Zcash. If it breaks out from a certain range, I might engage in a trade. If it breaks down, I might engage for a short, but I don't know where it will go. No one knows, okay? No one knows the future of anything. Nothing. No one knows any future of anything. You don't know your own future. You don't know where you're going to fart next, unless you have a fart right now in your ass, okay? So if you don't know what's your own future in the next few seconds, you don't know if a coin will definitely, with a certainty, going to go up or down, okay? So I don't know. I'm sorry. El Baptizirodo, Caspa has failed to live to its promise. What do you think about the future of Caspa? We've been talking about Caspa for probably 2.5 years for now. And, when it was going up in price, because we are price action traders, we were talking about how it has potential to continue if it did. If we saw something, we said about it. And once it topped, we made videos about it probably topping. And ever since, roughly August 2024, we have been saying it topped. So it topped, going down. We're trading it to the shorts every now and then. We shorted it multiple times on the way down. It is what it is. Right now it's going down. As you said, failed to live to its promise. That's why I don't care about the promises of any projects. Again, for me, all cryptos are just craptos. I do not believe the stories, because the stories are just fluff. What I look for, that's why I look at charts. Charts tell me the truth. Whether or not the market is agreeing with the promise that it's going up, and then I want to engage in the long side, or it's not agreeing and I want to short it. That's it. Okay, that's how I do it. That's why I use price action and volume and supply and demand to determine entries and exits. That's how I do it. Okay, I don't need to believe. I don't need promises. Okay, so the future of Caspa, unknown. I have no idea what the future will look like. I just know that it has been going down for many months, over a year now, and it has been. Most people right now that engaged in Caspa in the past 2.5 years, they're at a loss. Actually, exactly 2 years ago, that's where Caspa was having its last real bull market. All right. Todd is saying, I think Josh just followed Zcash pump. Exactly, it was a beta play. I think so too. Christoph Rogers looking on Caspa chart upside down. He's just, as I said, it's confirmation bias. Robbed friends. Who has already sold their crypto wallets to? Probably, I don't know who that is. That is probably a bot. So disregard this dude. I'm going to actually block him from the stream. Out you go. Ripple offer. ZBCN, how much go down? you know, though this isn't Ask Me Anything, so I'm going to answer, you know, but when you ask me how much it can go down, I don't know it. I don't know. You know, let's take a look at the chart. You know, what's the probability? All right, let's take a look. ZBCN. All right, how much can it go down? Well, can it? Let's take a look. Okay, can it go down back here at 33%? Yeah, probably it can go down at least to this area, which is the long-term, you know, resistance and support. Okay, all this area. Yeah, high probability. Can it go lower? Can it go all the way to this area over here? Okay, where we actually had like kind of a support action before it broke out, which is a 60% down. Yeah, definitely. Why not? If we go into a bear market, most definitely we're gonna go down there. Okay, if this is a bear market, like I think probability is with, yeah. And even if it's not, once we will, yeah, for sure. Can it go all the way to this area, which is the lowest low for ZBCN long-term perspective, which is a 75% down? Yes. Can it go lower, even a 99%? Yeah. So how low can it go? All the way down 97%, because some cryptos just fall into irrelevance, 97, 99% down. So again, you asked me a question, where can it go? It can go all the way down. Okay, I don't know where it will go though. I don't know. No crystal ball here. Daniel is asking, do you think ZEC gonna go up to 700? I want a short. All right, so what Daniel is doing over here is trying to find way to fight the tape, it's called. Okay, it's called fighting the tape, because what Dan is trying to do, he's trying to fight the strongest coin in the market. Okay, I don't think that's a good strategy at all. Okay, I like to short weakness, I don't like to short strength. So what Daniel is asking me is whether or not we can get to this level over here, because apparently Daniel thinks that 700 can be a good short. Okay, now I don't know. Maybe we'll get to 700 and we'll actually go down and Daniel's wishes will be fulfilled. Okay, I remember Roger, for example, I think it was Roger or someone else telling me somewhere over here, hey, I'm shorting Zcash because it was way too strong. And of course, it went up another, you know, I don't know how much, another 60%. And it probably got stopped out or liquidated, or not, just holding a huge loss. Shorts bear a huge risk, an asymmetric risk, by the way, which I don't like. I do like shorting because when they work together, if you know how to short, and again, if you don't know, you can come to the bear market bootcamp we have on Wednesday. Okay, that's why we are having this bear market bootcamp, for you to actually understand how me and CM, how we do things. Okay, we're going to teach you how we do it. Okay, and this is not the way. I don't believe shorting strong coins is the way. Can it work every now and then? Sure. But as I said, shorts, they have an asymmetric risk, because shorts, you know, can go infinitely against you, you know, in theory. While you can only make 100% gain if it goes to zero. Okay. So it can only make 100% gain maximum, but your loss is infinite. So the asymmetric risk here is bad. So that's why you need to be very careful when shorting if you don't know how to short. Daniel, I don't know if it's going to go to 700. I have no idea. I don't think your strategy is a good strategy at all. Even if you do get lucky once, I think you won't get lucky many times until you blow out. And again, it has a lot of risk to it. That's my 2 cents. You want to do whatever you want to do. All right. Mr. Todd is saying, looks like ZBCN bounce was due to an exchange listing. Okay. Is Airblock ABT actually a decent coin? I was new to crypto and listened to the baboon Crypto John. And Crypto John, you know, he took so many, you know, newbies down the gutter with him. Oh, man. Man, this is just awful right now. Look, all cryptos, okay, are decent when they are making ROIs. When they stop making ROIs, they're pure garbage. Right now, ARB, which is, by the way, traded all on Coinbase and on Gate, and not on any exchange that, any other decent exchange. Okay, for example, Binance, Bybit, it's not there. Okay, and I think this is an NFT type coin. So, and again, the volume is only 300,000 on Coinbase. The 24, and you don't see right now actually, so I'm going to hide the question. But if you see here at the bottom, okay, here, you can. So here it says the average volume in the past 24 hours, which is 300,000 only. I wonder what it was here at the top. Let's go to the top and let's see how much it was trading over here. 4 million only. So even at the top, okay, it wasn't trading nearly as much for big players. This was never a real whale type play. Let's try to go even here to the breakout area. In the breakout area, well, it was 6 million, a bit better. Nothing to go to the bank with. Okay, I just made this out of my own curiosity. Okay, so at one point, you could have traded ABT. This was a decent trade out of an accumulation range over here. I call this a stage one breakout. This was your trade over here, okay? Then you had a flag breakout over here. And you can see that as you broke out higher and higher, the breakouts become worse and worse until it just fizzled down. So the learning here is that coins have their, time to shine. They do have their time to shine. But you need to understand and appreciate that when their time to shine ends, that's it. Okay? Right now, it's at the gutter. And just like any crypto that goes to the gutter, it's pure garbage. Because as I said, 99% of coins will never see a new all-time high again and will never see a daylight. They can go all the way back down here and start to move sideways indefinitely, just like ICP hodlers have been waiting for years and years and years, and they only get some fizzling bounces every now and then, but they don't see the light of day at all. Okay, so yeah, I think that pretty much answers the question. And I'm sorry, by the way, I'm sorry that you got swapped and smashed with Crypto John the baboon. Hello from Texas, Salamander. Cheers. Thank you very much for the hello. Age bar breakout to all-time high. Okay, so I do have just a couple more minutes. So I'm going to take, maybe one more coin and that's it. Let's see what I have, by the way. So I'm going to go age bar in a second. Do you think ZBCN will be at 1 cent since everyone keeps selling? Salamander from Texas. I talked about ZBCN already, and I'm not going to talk about it again. But right now, bear market is a bear market. If we continue down, it's going to continue going down, okay? How many times a week do you work? How many times a week do you work out? LOL. Not as much as I used to, Christoph, by the way, because, with my, well, it's not a newborn anymore. He's almost 2 years old, but everything is different. I used to train every day almost, no off days, and I would just do a very low intensity thing in my day off. Right now, 4 times a week, roughly, is it. ZBCN price prediction. Jay Rumi already talked about ZBCN, and you know better than anyone I don't give any price predictions. You think ISO 222 compliant coins is a thing. I know that this is a thing that ZBCN holders are talking about. I don't know. Right now, I don't see them as a thing. They had a narrative when everyone was talking about it, when ZBCN broke out and XRP had its moment, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Fizzle down. All these coins are done. And again, if you are a narrative trader, okay, if you are a narrative trader, you needed to trade the narrative while it was hot. Okay, and this is why, again, I say this over and over again. I don't hodl coins because at one point they're hot, at another point they're in the gutter, in the sewer. I play them once they're hot. That's it. Okay. Now some of you can. For me, it's a couple of days to a couple of weeks to a month. Okay, if you want to hold for longer, sometimes you can. You need to find your rules, how to find way, with moving average or whatever, to hold a bit longer, and that's it. But you will always want to find a way out in profit and not to hodl forever, because nothing is a thing forever. Okay, nothing. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Thank you. John, a lifetime member. Can we agree never to talk about Caspa again? It's so annoying. John, I know that you are one of the Caspa holders in the past. You came to our membership and we put some sense into you. A lot of our members, lifetime, elites, whatever, they came to us, fortunately, at the right moment, where when they go on a call with us, we tell them, hey, your portfolio is I would just, if I was in your shoes, okay, because we don't give financial advice, we just say what we would do in your shoes, we would have sold. A lot of people, thanks to that call, sold at the correct moment, which is when they joined, because perpetually it was going down ever since. Whether it's for 18 cents, you are lucky, 14 cents, 12 cents, 10 cents, some people didn't sell, unfortunately. So, John, unfortunately, we're going to keep talking about Caspa because people want to know what Caspa. And by the way, if you want to join, all right, you want to have a call with me and CM, we have the Elite VIP. That is for very serious, either for serious people that want to be, traders or investors, or if you have, big money that every mistake you make can really hurt you. So, some people with 50K to 100K, they can join. But some people, they have 250, 500, some more than a mil. Each mistake you make is going to cost you a lot of ROIs down. Come, the first thing we do is save you, and then we help you build. Okay, and if that's not for you, want something more sensible, join the VIP. Okay, the regular one, we're going to put some sense into you. So, John, we put some sense into you. I know you don't like it, but we're going to keep talking Caspa until it becomes really relevant. Okay. Karen, hey Jomo, does it look like ICP, Flux, and Filecoin look like they're bottoming out, getting ready for another move up? What is your opinion? Thanks. Okay, I'm going to talk about this in a second with H bar. This channel is very sobering, Todd. Thank you. I used to trade emotionally and by narratives. The real truth lies in the charts. Everything else is just noise. Thank you for understanding, Todd. Okay. In my opinion, okay, and I do appreciate that sometimes you have like a narrative, but my narrative is not based on whispers of narratives. Okay, I see narratives. For example, we had exchange coins narratives back in September, okay, when MYX broke out, Hype had a breakout, and OKX had a breakout. So we had a narrative based on exchange coins. In the beginning of the bull market, we had narratives of coins, of AI coins pumping. So that was coins you want, but you saw all of those in the charts. So I'm happy you understand, Todd. Some people are saying the bottom in Bitcoin will be 50, 60K early summer and not 30K in 2026, like you said. What do you think? Well, Yoav, I don't know. I really do not know. It can be either, it can be none. We can go to 15K. I don't know the future, to be honest, okay? And that's what, if you can take one thing out of what I'm trying to teach over here is no one knows the future. No one, okay? That's why I don't try to predict the future, where it's going to go, where it's going to go down. I have an edge, okay? I have a repeatable edge that I take trades where a set of criteria are met. I take the trades, I take my profits, I set my stop loss. If I lose a few percentage, I move on to the next one, and I rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat, and it's so good and it's so relieving that I don't need to predict anything. I just have a repeatable edge that works for me, okay? And not only for me, it's timeless, okay? So I don't know, I'm sorry, okay? It can happen either way. I will tell you one thing, whatever it is, I will be there looking at the charts and looking like a detective, finding the clues that will tell me if we're bottoming or not. All right, no more questions. I'm going to go directly to the charts that people wanted me to go. I'm going to start with the H bar thing that someone asked. Someone asked, can it go to new all-time highs? I doubt it. Okay, let's take a look at the weekly. I doubt this is going to have an all-time high. Okay, this is an X. Oh, you're not seeing it actually. Now you're seeing it. Sorry. So this is the H bar. I doubt it. Okay, let's call this the all-time high on H bar. Okay, maybe I think it was higher on another chart, but let's say this. No, an H bar is an XRP beta trade. The only reason why, well, it's not H bar, it's actually XLM, but H bar is one of the beta trades of XRP. Also, it's a bit different, I understand, but usually runs with XRP. No, I don't think it's gonna amount to anything anymore. I think it's kind of done. But again, who am I? Who am I, right? I don't know. Okay, but I don't think so. And again, I don't need to know. The only thing I need to know right now is that there's no edge to it. There's no trade over here for me. I won't buy to hodl it, and I won't just short anything. Right now, there's absolutely zero edge to it, just noise in the chart. Right. Let's take a look at ICP real quick for the dude that asked about ICP. ICP, and I'm gonna share. He said ICP. This is one. Okay. No, I don't think it's bottoming out. I just think this is an irrelevant coin. Okay, until proven otherwise. Okay, I think it's hard to think about something bottoming out while Bitcoin is topping out. Even if Bitcoin has another move, which I doubt it. No, ICP is not bottoming out while Bitcoin is topping. Okay, think, people, think. Okay, Flux. Let's take a look at Flux. Let's take a look at it. No, I think Flux worse than ICP even right now. It's because it got to a second layer of being below it. Okay, it's even below this long-term support, because you had a long-term support of this area. You're below this area. Now you're below. It's actually on the third level down. Okay, so I think Flux is garbage right now. I think, to be honest, I wouldn't even watch it. Why are you watching it? I think I know why you're watching it. I know how people think. People are just thinking, oh, this is versus H. Let's look at file versus here. The way people think mostly is, what is the coin that is most in the dumpster that I can find that is cheap in relation to its all-time high, and that's what I want to be buying. Well, that's not how I operate, okay? That is not how I operate at all, okay? If it's in the dumpster, usually there is a reason why it's in the dumpster, okay? Usually there's a reason why it's in the dumpster. That's all I have to say. All right, everyone, thank you very much for chiming in. Okay, remember, if you want to join our VIP, you can scan the QR code. Come check it out. The VIP, usually most people are very, very happy with it. You can come check it for yourself. And if you want to see trades that I did, I made a video about all the trades that we took in the membership in the month of October. Okay, you can go check it out in the Crypto Mindset channel, in my channel. Go check it out there. Do your due diligence. If you want to, you'll see that most probably very worthwhile. And if you want to come and join the Bearcamp Bootcamp, I don't understand why not to. This is free alpha for everyone. Come join. We also have the Bear Live 25% coupon coin. I will see you in the next one. Thank you everyone for chiming in. Hopefully you understood my point of view. I love all of you. Thank you very much for coming.